And welcome back to Capitol Tonight. Since 1975, New York has gone through 5 governors, 6 U.S. senators, and has lost 10 congressional seats. But in all that time, the suburbs south of Buffalo and towns that stretch east towards Rochester have been represented by just one man in the state Senate. But that will change in 2011. On Friday, Senator Dale Volker officially announced that he will not seek re-election to the 59th District, stepping down to spend more time with his family and for the good of his health. Senator Volker joins us in the studio now to talk more about this decision and also his long career of public service. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So you formally made the announcement over the weekend. It was, I saw the footage because I was out in Western New York. It was emotional for you.
Very emotional, you know, after all these years, not only in the Senate, but also 2 years in the Assembly before that, which is 38 years. In fact, one of the things my wife said, you gave Albany 38 years, now maybe it's time to give me a couple of years. And, you know, she was right. And I have to tell you, everybody has a shelf life, in my opinion. There's time. I personally believe that I could have won the primary. I mean, it looks like I would have had at least 2, maybe 3 people. I was disappointed that my county chairman decided to run because it would mean that the party would be torn apart in Erie County, because I think most of the town chairmen, I believe, would probably support me. And it would be a tough campaign. I think I could win. But then the other thing is, and I thought about this, I thought, so then I win, and then I look forward to next year, which, if nothing changes, is going to be one of the most terrible years, because unless the Democrats get their act together, and I don't think they're going to, we're going to have a situation where we Republicans next year in the Senate, because I think we will take control of the Senate, are going to have to deal with a devastating fiscal problem for a couple of years. And in a situation here in Albany, unfortunately, it is just not anything the way it used to be.
Okay, you've said a number of things that I'd like to follow up on, so let's just unpack that a little bit. First of all, in terms of your successors, whoever that may be, you are not going to pick a favorite at this point.
No, the party will decide on who my successor is. At some point, I might decide to support somebody, but that's in the future. We'll see what happens.
And it's already gotten a little bit ugly out there. You've seen the sniping already happening. I think it was your 2006 opponent, is that correct?
No, 2008 opponent.
Their 2008 opponent, the former East Aurora Mayor, DiPietro.
Yeah.
He's calling Don Migalski, of the Erie County GOP chairman of whom you spoke, a quote, vanity candidate, right? Are you surprised? Yeah. Are you surprised that this has gotten so ugly so fast?
No. The 2008 campaign was somewhat ugly, too. I mean, in today's world, let me tell you, DiPietro is head of a group called Primary Challenge. He says he's head of the Tea Party, but it's actually a group called Primary Challenge. And their whole thrust is to castigate government and so forth. It's the way things happen today. The civility has been lost in politics, I'm afraid. It's just too bad.
But the anti-incumbent sentiment is actually also very high.
Very high.
So what is it that makes you feel that the Republicans are in a better place? Because everything that I've seen indicates that it doesn't matter what side of the line you come down on, incumbent is bad.
Yeah, except that I think that people are more angry at the Democrats by far than they are at Republicans. The Tea Party movement is only a piece of the anti-incumbency thing. It is frightening to me. My personal feeling is that just because you're an incumbent, if you've done the job, you've done the job. I think I did the job. I fought against taxes and so forth. When the story comes out, the true story during the campaigns, I think the Republicans will do a lot better.
But if you're talking about in terms of dysfunction in the state Senate, I mean, certainly while it's true that in the beginning part of the year last year that the Democrats had trouble getting off the ground, then subsequently there was the coup, which was your side of the aisle.
That's right.
Were you on board with that?
Yes, I was. And let me tell you something. The reason I was on board, I would wish we could have done it differently, it stopped the Democrats from doing a lot of bad things. One of the things that's fascinating about that is the appearance. This is democracy. And we saw an opportunity to stop what was going to be terrible legislation, more fees, more kinds of problems. The trouble was the people that want to come over with us were not the best people in the world. We didn't choose them. They chose us. And despite all the talk, that coup changed the whole culture in the Senate and forced the Democrats to recognize they had to deal with us. And that has changed the Senate dramatically.
So the 31 days that
Yes.
the Senate was deadlocked and
Yeah.
zero got done, you
Yes.
think was worth it as a trade-off?
It was definitely worth it. We stopped some terrible things from happening, I know, in Western New York. We stopped a whole bunch of things that people don't realize, things like medical marijuana and things that were going to happen. They're going to try to make them now, but they're going to have a difficult time because it's going to be very tough because they got to deal with us Republicans. And they found out that they couldn't deal with each other. I mean, remember, the situation at the time was that the African Americans and the Hispanics were fighting each other, and it was so bad, nothing was getting done anyways, really. And what we did was to get them to agree among themselves, at least, to come to some sort of agreement with us. And we changed, really, the situation. Had we not done that, I can tell you that there's no question in my mind the situation would be much worse.
But you don't believe that actually there's equal culpability or equal viability, or if you will, or responsibility for Pedro Espada, who is now in the crosshairs of Attorney General Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
If he's not indicted and found
Yeah.
guilty of anything, he's going to run again.
Yeah.
You could see campaign ads on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
You know, Republicans saying he's yours, Democrats saying he's yours. That doesn't.
You have to understand something, though. You can say anything you want, but this is a democracy. And the appearance, I think the worst part of it was that the Democrats then charged in, certain Democrats charged in with the Acorn people and turned the thing into somewhat of a fiasco. I still think that, would I prefer we had a different way to do it? Absolutely. But I got to tell you, it did change the culture of the Senate and force the Democrats into a situation where they realized they had to deal with us. I would wish it didn't have to happen the way it did. But remember, the media said it looked terrible. Of course it looked terrible. In fact, democracy sometimes looks terrible when you do it. I mean, I don't think there seems to be an understanding of what was going on down there. I mean, did I like the idea? At first I thought, I don't know if but then I realized that we would at least stop all kinds of bad things from occurring in upstate New York. 'Cause most